For centuries, one number has been whispered about in the hidden corridors of power. Number 33. To most people, it's just a number. But to an elite few throughout history, it represented the final step in a long and arduous journey. It was the highest, most secretive level of an ancient brotherhood. The 33rd degree of Freemasonry. This wasn't just a title. It was an initiation, a level reserved for those who were not just members, but were considered masters of a profound and powerful knowledge. Just think of the names associated with this society. Benjamin Franklin, who shaped a new nation. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who channeled music that seemed to come from another world. Henry Ford, who put the entire globe on wheels. This leads to the ultimate question. How did so many of history's great architects end up in the same secret fraternity? Was it merely a social club for the powerful? Or did they gain access to a master key at the 33rd degree? A secret understanding of the universe that gave them the power to manifest their visions into reality. For generations, this knowledge was one of the most closely guarded secrets on Earth. But that secret is not lost. In fact, it was translated for the modern world by a man who earned the honor of the 33rd degree himself. He didn't write it in a straightforward manual. He cleverly wove it into the myths, symbols, and philosophies of the ancient world, hiding it in plain sight for anyone with the courage to look. His name was Manly Palmer Hall. He was a brilliant thinker who became a Freemason in 1954. It wasn't an easy path for him. It took 19 years of hard work and deep study before he was given the special honor of the 33rd degree. Manly P. Hall's most important work was a book he wrote called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. On the outside, it looks like a history book about old myths and ideas, but if you read it carefully, Hall cleverly hides the Freemasons' secret teachings for controlling your reality, using the power of your own mind. The book describes three main principles, or three great laws. The people who were masters at creating the life they wanted all followed these three principles. So, in this video, I'm going to break down the three main parts of this Freemason philosophy for you. These are the key ideas that will let you tap into the power of your own mind. Before we continue, it's important to approach this with the right mindset. This knowledge isn't just information. It's designed to create real change. It works best when used with clear and positive intentions, so it's worth taking a moment to think about how you'll apply these ideas for your own personal growth. With that serious thought in mind, let's get started. The first principle, which is the foundation for everything else, is the law of cause and effect. In his book, Manly Hall makes it very clear how serious this law is. He says, "The immutability of the law was stressed, that every thought and act must react according to the nature of the energy liberated." He then explains that this never-ending reaction was represented by the symbol of the circle, a symbol of endless, non-stop action. Let's break that down into simpler terms. First, he says, the law is immutable. This means it's unbreakable and unchanging. It's a law of the universe, like the law of gravity. It means that every single thought you have, even the small ones, and every single action you take, no matter how tiny, releases a certain kind of energy. And that energy must, without fail, create a result that matches it. There are no escape clauses. Then he brings up the idea of the circle and infinite action. This points to a way of seeing the world not as a straight line, but as a series of cycles. We can see this pattern all around us. Societies go through cycles of growth and then collapse. Great empires, like the Roman Empire, rise to power and then fall apart. Currencies get created and eventually become worthless. This has happened over and over throughout history. Even today, some scientists are starting to think that human history itself is a cycle. They see signs of water damage on the Great Sphinx in Egypt that suggest it's thousands of years older than we thought. maybe from before a great flood. This could mean that advanced civilizations have risen and fallen many times, and we just forgot about them. Our own lives are a cycle. We are born, we live, and we die. It's all cycles. The second part of this is infinite action. We are always, every second of every day, in a state of action. A big mistake people make is thinking that thinking and doing are two different things. They think you're either sitting on the couch just thinking positive thoughts, or you're out in the world working hard. But that's a false choice. Thinking is an action. Feeling is an action. Physical work is an action. They are all just different kinds of movement, different kinds of energy. And because life is a cycle that never stops, this action is infinite, or endless. It's a constant buzz of energy. So, what does all this have to do with cause and effect in your daily life? It means you have to completely get rid of the idea of luck. Nothing in your life is an accident. Everything that is happening to you right now, the good, the bad, and the ugly, is an effect. And every single effect has a cause. We only use words like luck, chance, or coincidence when we can't see what caused the thing to happen. The cause was hidden from us, but it was there. This is the unbreakable law. This is where we see the huge difference between people who create their lives and people who just react to them. Think about how most people make decisions. They look at what their friends are doing. They see something on the news, and they compare. This is thinking by comparing, or thinking by analogy. It leads to fear and worry, and it makes you just another follower in the crowd. It's what sheep do. They look at the other sheep to see when it's time to get scared. They don't think for themselves. The real way to use the law of cause and effect is to reason from first principles. What does that mean? It means you take any situation and you break it all the way down to its simplest, most basic truth. You look at every piece of information as a clue, not as a fact. You keep asking why, over and over again. Why is this happening? Why did that person say that? What is the real core truth at the bottom of all this? When you learn to think this way, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop being an effect, and you start becoming the cause. To become a creator of your reality, you need to be authentic. You need to be yourself. You can't just follow someone else's map and hope to get to your own special destination. The second you start comparing yourself, you've lost your power. You're back to copying. Can you use your own mind to figure out from the most basic truths why one path would work for you and another wouldn't? When was the last time you just sat down in a quiet room and thought deeply about why things in your life are the way they are? Most people never do this. This is the key to the first law, understanding that everything you see in your life is just an effect. And your job is to become a detective and find the hidden cause. And that search for the hidden cause leads us right to the second great law, the law of spirit. The second law that is absolutely essential to understand is what Hall calls the law of spirit. In a chapter about mathematics, he says this: the universe is made up of successive gradations of good. These gradations ascend from matter, which is the least degree of good, to spirit, which is the greatest degree of good. The meaning of this quote is incredible. What Manly P. Hall is describing here is a kind of blueprint for reality, one with different layers or levels. At the bottom, you have the physical world, the world of matter that we can see and touch. He calls this the least degree of good, which sounds strange, but it basically means it's the most dense, and, believe it or not, the least powerful level of reality. Then above that, you have the unseen world, the world of spirit. He's talking about our thoughts, our awareness, our energy. Hall calls this the greatest degree of good because this is where the real power lies. It's the most subtle, most refined level of reality, and therefore, it's the most powerful. So, why would he say that? Because the unseen world controls the seen world. The subtle controls the gross. Think about it this way. Ancient wise men from India believed that the universe started from nothing, that nothingness became energy, that energy became awareness, that awareness became consciousness, the universe became aware of itself. The movement inside that consciousness is what we call the mind, or thought. And that mind then created the body. If you want proof of this today, just look at the placebo effect. Yet, if a person truly believes that pill will heal them, their body can literally cure itself of terrible diseases like cancer. The body, which is physical matter, is being healed by a belief, which is an invisible thought in the mind. The mind is the subtle cause. The healing of the body is the physical effect. Our bodies are so advanced that even our best supercomputers can't copy what they do. And it's all being run by the unseen power of the mind. So, if you want to change your body, your health, or anything in your physical world, you have to learn to work with the unseen levels of life. This connects right back to cause and effect. There is an unseen, subtle cause that is creating all the visible, gross effects in your life. If you want to change something, stop trying to force the physical thing. Stop trying to manipulate the effect. Instead, turn your focus inward and work on the subtle source, the thought, the belief, the feeling that is causing that effect in the first place. The subtle world always creates the physical world. To make any change in your physical life, you have to start with the source from which it comes, and that source is in your mind. This understanding takes us to our final and most exciting law, the law of imagination. It is truly amazing how Manly Hall talks about imagination. He doesn't treat it like simple daydreaming. He talks about it with a sense of wonder and respect. He says, imagination is the star in man, the celestial or super-celestial body. This is the great secret of the mysteries. Let's think about that phrase. The star in man. Why would he call it that? Why would he call it a celestial body, which means a heavenly body, like a star or a planet? I believe it's because imagination is the highest and most powerful tool we have. It's where the mind and the spirit come together. The great scientist Albert Einstein even said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Hall is telling us that imagination is like having a piece of heaven, a divine spark, right inside of you. Another great teacher who talked about this was a man named Neville Goddard. Neville taught that our imagination, when combined with our awareness, is the ultimate creative power in the universe. Remember how we said that awareness came after energy? Neville believed that our awareness, when focused by our imagination, gives us the power to design our own lives. But there is a very important trick to this. The only kind of visualization that works is creative visualization. There's a reason they use the word imagination, because it suggests creativity. And creativity involves feelings and the heart. Just making a picture in your head, with no feeling attached, is like looking at a black and white photograph. It's flat and has no life. There's a big difference between just picturing something and truly imagining it. Neville Goddard's great secret was teaching people to visualize by thinking feelingly. When you do creative visualization, you don't just see a goal in your mind's eye. You step into that picture and you feel all the emotions of it being real right now. When you do this, you are lining up the two most powerful parts of your being, your mind and your heart. When your mind and your heart are working together, pointing in the same direction, you become a powerful creator. For example, Let's say you want a new job. If you can sit quietly and not just see yourself at the new job, but actually feel the pride, feel the excitement, feel the relief, only then the chance of you getting that job goes way, way up. If you want to make more money in your business, and you can truly feel what that success would feel like, if you can live from the feeling of your wish fulfilled, then it's almost guaranteed to happen. Why? Because you are now using your inner world to direct the outer world. This is what I believe all those powerful Freemasons knew how to do so well. So, here is a challenge for you. For the next 30 days, pick one important goal you want to achieve. It can be big or small, it doesn't matter. Make it big enough to excite you, but still believable enough that you can accept it. Choose the goal that would make your heart sing if you achieved it. Then, every single night as you are drifting off to sleep, begin to imagine scenes that would happen after your goal was already achieved. What would you be doing? What would people be saying to you? Most importantly, how would you be feeling? Do this every night as you fall asleep, because this is when your conscious mind is sleepy, and your powerful subconscious mind is wide open to suggestion. Commit to doing this. The main lesson here is creative visualization that uses both your head and your heart. Thinking with feeling. I believe the most powerful way to change your life for good is to work with the most subtle cause of all. What is the one thing that controls everything in our lives, but that we almost never think about? It's our beliefs about who we are. We question everything in life, except the beliefs that make up our own identity. And those are the beliefs that are running the show. Once you learn how to change your identity at the deepest level, once you decide to become a new person with new thoughts, new feelings, and new expectations, you will, by the unbreakable laws we've talked about today, automatically begin to live a new reality. The greatest secret is this: the universe is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Thank you for watching until the very end. If you want to continue unlocking these hidden keys to reality, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into ancient wisdom. And remember, you are the creator.